What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. PlayStation, Sony, the media. Today we're going to be talking about something that I have particularly noticed when it comes to covering PlayStation. Now, let me give you a little bit of a background in terms of myself. I have never got a review code from PlayStation. I have never really talked to any representation of PlayStation. I've never done anything remotely with PlayStation. Now, obviously, I'm a small channel, and even, on bigger outlets, I've known people to say that PlayStation sometimes could be hard to work with. Now, let's talk about the media. I do feel like, and this is just me, I feel that when I'm looking throughout how the industry covers PlayStation, I feel like they're we're going to talk about it now, not later. And what I mean by that is we might give you an article, and sometimes not even that. We might tweet about it on our individual Twitter accounts connected to whatever outlet they're from, whether it's IGN, GameSpot. But besides that, we're never going to really bring this up again. We're not going to really put a whole lot of spotlight on that. And maybe, guys, tell me if I'm wrong. Put in the comment section below. I'm very open to that. I'm only going off what I see. And I'm very open to you guys telling me, Addict, you wrong, and to putting in the comment section. But to me, when I'm looking at this stuff, I feel like when Xbox messes up or they mess up big, when they mess up, you might hear it for a couple days. And if they mess up big, you'll hear it for like a month straight, you'll hear it. And I just don't feel like that's the same case for PlayStation. Let's talk about some of the stuff that's happened with PlayStation this year. Let's go over it a little bit. You had Jim Ryan either get fired or he retired from PlayStation. You had factions being put on ice. You have multiple times where some, information was stolen from the servers. Now, we don't know to the degree that this data breach was happened, but PlayStation got hacked this year to some degree. And then you had stuff like them canceling half of the games that PlayStation's working on. Then you got stuff like key people leaving multiple studios of PlayStation. To me, if this was Xbox news, every outlet in this industry would have multiple opinion pieces, multiple articles talking about it. They would be doing nothing but screaming, this is what's going on. But it does feel like, even though that these outlets did cover these scenarios, it felt like after a day, crickets. Everyone stopped talking about it. It didn't feel like it was really a priority. And I feel like some sites at this point probably just cover it so they don't get called out being like the odd man out, not covering these particular topics. And like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm missing all these articles. I do have a lot of these media outlets followed for content creation purposes. That way I see when these news are dropping in real time, and I can, react as best as I can. And I just don't feel like the media really comes down on PlayStation at all in terms of bad news. Obviously, both sides, I will say that they're very open to giving credit where credit is due, including Xbox. But I feel like there's either two scenarios that's going on here. And I'm more in the middle of both of these scenarios. The first scenario is I personally believe that, let's go over the first one. Now, when you look into the history of PlayStation, from the PS1 to the PS2 to the PS3 to the PS4, they, especially during the PlayStation 4, have delivered very good quality games. From Spider-Man to Bloodborne to God of War to the Uncharted franchise to the Last of Us franchise. So when you look at these games, I could see why a lot of people in the media would be like, okay, these are some bad things going on, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't think this is going to affect PlayStation's bottom line. But you look at like Connie leaving, even, David Jaffe that used to work for PlayStation was very vocal that she was a key essential part of PlayStation growing to the point that they have grown to. Now, Connie Levin seemed to have gotten a lot more in terms of coverage from what I remember. But after that initial coverage, I felt like no one talked about it anymore. You know, we're talking about an individual that was there for that many years, that helped deliver and help push out that many games out to the public. And it's like they got an article, maybe two, and then we're going to keep business pushing. I felt like if Matt Booty left play Xbox, or, you know, left really willingly or forcibly, I feel like there would be so many articles. What's going on at Xbox? And look, and I'm not saying that, you know, back to the PlayStation has done stuff to deserve that benefit of the doubt. But I feel like there is a limit. And the amount of stuff that's happened this year, I feel like that limit was very well passed. From games as a service being shut down, to factions, one of their biggest, most anticipated titles, being pushed out, to Star Wars, The Old Republic, essentially being canceled. Obviously, it's still being worked on, but no one knows what's going on that. There's so many scenarios that's going on that I just feel like no one's really talking about. This year has probably been one of the worst years for PlayStation since I started covering gaming in general. And I don't think not that many people either care or don't care. And then there's the other scenario that I feel isn't all the way over there, but I do feel there are some people in the media that are scared to death to get blacklisted by PlayStation. We've seen a variety of people throughout the industry get blacklisted from PlayStation just by giving them a bad review on a game. We have seen people like Survivor, even though maybe you disagree with their review, why them? They gave the Spider-Man 2 like a 9, but they gave one game a bad review, and it seemed like, you know, put them on the straight path. You know, I've seen influencers speak on Twitter saying stuff like, I was promised some exclusive stuff, or I was told there was going to be a lot of good information and worth my time to go to one of these influencer meetings that they did. Said he went there. It was literally just marketing. There was nothing good of value for them to do content on. And he posted about it, and he sent them an email and said, you know, I don't appreciate you wasting my time. My time, I feel, is valuable, and I feel like you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. You kind of lied to me about what this was. And he said that's the last time he heard from PlayStation. There is so many incidences where PlayStation has done some very grimy stuff behind closed doors. Some that I know of that I can't even talk about because I would get some friends in trouble, where it's just like, if you're doing this behind closed doors, what else are you doing? So I think there's a lot of both in there. You know, I think there's a lot of people just giving more benefit of the doubt than they should. And there's some people that is scared to get blacklisted, and then there's people in the middle. Now, I think this end over here might be a little bit of bias too. And I think that's where the IGNs, the GameSpots are. And I think this end here is a lot of, you know, big, medium-sized outlets. Don't get me wrong. PlayStation can easily blacklist bigger media outlets, but I think they know that that would probably hurt them more than help them. And I think that's why they don't normally shut them out. But anyway, that's some food for thought, man. I'm just curious to hear your guys' opinion in the comment section below. Am I tripping? I might be tripping. Please tell me if I'm tripping. I got to know. I got to be checked. I just want to know. Do you guys see stuff on Twitter? Do you guys see articles to the degree that articles are being wrote about when it comes to negative Xbox news? Put in the comment section below. I'm very curious to hear that. You know, if you like this video, definitely hit that like button. It's always appreciated. And if you enjoy this channel, subscribe for weekly content. I pretty much make videos every day at this point. But without any further ado, I really appreciate you guys. You guys have a good day. Addict out. Have a good one. Man, I can't wait to read this comment section.